All right, so we are live on YouTube. Get us right over here. Jinx is going to go nuts, I guess. Okay, so by fixing this one, now you're looking at my kitchen. Am I with my dirty dishes? Can you see my dirty dishes? Hi, guys. I guess Jinx is going to be a little wild today. That's weird. So as you can see, I am not outside because it is humid. I don't know. The rain is here, thankfully, but now it's so stinking humid. But unless I'm in the pool, I'm not going to be outside. My camera's just giving me fits this morning. Sorry if I'm making you seasick. All right. Not cooperating so good. Sorry. But on the plus side, there is pretty good lighting today, so that out. All right, I guess that's as good as it's going to get. Let's see if you can cut off my head. All right. That's terrible. The camera looks really weird. Anyway, so while I fuss around and goof off, did you hear that? So if you're watching on Facebook, or even if you're not watching on Facebook, but you've seen those Facebook posts, I've been placing up some of the weirdest, not weirdest, most visually stunning pictures that I can find of some of these poses, right? And I can't do most of them, right? And I've been practicing over more than 20 years, I think, at this point. But that doesn't matter, right? So that's super cool looking. And hopefully it inspires you or challenges you. But don't worry if it's not actually accessible, right? That isn't the point of yoga. It's beautiful, right? And it's really fun to get into a cool pose and have somebody take a picture of you, but it is not, it isn't the point, right? Stretching the body and seeing where the body goes and moving these muscles and strengthening these other muscles to get you into those things is great, right? But it's just not the point, right? To be physically present in your body, even if you are just sitting, right? Whether you're in that complicated thing or whether you're just in a sitting position, that's the point, right? And many times, because we see these visually crazy pictures, that person isn't necessarily practicing yoga. In fact, they're probably not practicing yoga, right? They got into a pose for somebody to take a picture. So again, those are things to inspire you and to maybe challenge you, but that is getting to that place is not the point, right? So I don't worry that I can't do those things, and I hope you don't either. Having said all of that, just a quick little reminder about the virtual summer workshop that I'm going to, a retreat, not workshop, that I'm going to have in 2 weeks, right? So we'll be here next week at 9:30. We'll be live. And then the following week, I won't have a normal live, but if you are a paid member on the anydayyoga.com website, it's a free 3-hour session. We'll do a regular practice, a little bit longer than normal. I've got some fun information for you for a little chunk of it. And then we'll do a restorative like we did at the winter retreat. So you'll get this really great just really chill practice to end with. And it's just nice to take some time occasionally to be together, right? Even if I can't see you, right? We'll be on Zoom, and I'll know you're there, and you can interact with me, and you can be on camera if you want to, but you don't have to. Right? So yeah, that's in 2 weeks. Remember to sign up if you're not already signed up. And I will be sending out a separate email to everyone who does have a paid membership so you can get the Zoom information that you need, right? So if I don't already have your email, definitely shoot that over to me one way or another. There's a whole bunch of ways to contact me. So that's it, I think, and I think it's probably time to go. Yeah, it's time to go for sure. Gosh, I talked way longer than I thought I did. All right, so we're going to start just in a seated position. Make sure you're comfortable. Prop if you need to prop, certainly, every day. Aligning the heels, making sure we're upright on the pelvis. Anytime you're seated, whether you're practicing yoga or you're sitting at your desk, really focusing on where your pelvis is to try and help your back be in a healthy place. So go ahead and activate the belly, lifting the pelvic floor, lower belly in and up, sitting tall through your sides. Relax your hips and your shoulders as much as you can and sit extra tall, crown of the head reaching to the ceiling. And just be present. Let all the thoughts of everything you have to do later today go. Being aware of the sensations of your body, even here. Again, we don't have to be in those crazy poses to be connected to this moment and our bodies. Bringing that same awareness to the breath and taking just a moment, just being perfectly present with it. Not changing or doing, just being. Creating a yoga breath, so take it a little deeper. Maybe a little slower. And nice and smooth. So this is kind of our baseline. Being present in the body, being connected to this nice full breath. Everything on top of that is extra. So let's begin here, extending the arms out to the sides with an inhale. Stretch the arms up. And then exhale and bring them back down. Letting the arms reflect the breath. We'll do that again. And once more. With an inhale, make your way back up to the top again. Exhaling just the right hand back to the mat. Give yourself a little tip over to that side, lengthening the side body. And then coming back to the top on an inhale. Taking it over to the left. And then back to the top, inhaling. And once more on each side like that. So exhale right. Maybe deepen your stretch. Inhale center. And exhale left. Back up to the middle on an inhale. And then we'll exhale the arms back to the sides. Stay nice and tall. Let's bring the left hand to the right knee, right hand behind the back. Little baby twist over to the right here. Try to relax into your shoulders, lengthening your spine. We'll come back through the center over to the second side. And then back to the middle again. Let's take a little deeper with this one. So supporting with the arms, pressing into the right arm, pulling with the left. Take your time making this deeper. So whether you're moving a little bit more evenly or a little bit deeper into those tighter spots, take your time, being present. And then releasing that back to center, taking the second side. Let's release that, coming back to the middle again. And from there, working around onto hands and knees. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, belly still engaged, and your middle is this neutral spine. So from there, go ahead and inhale, drop the belly toward the floor, pull the shoulders together on the back and lift your tailbone. Exhaling as you round the spine, tuck your tailbone under, think forehead to belly button. And then just move between those two positions, connected to the breath, inhaling belly low. Exhaling, rounding the spine up. Taking a few more flows like that, gentle in and out. Once more in each direction. And then we'll find that middle. So neutral spine here. Let's shift our way into a kneeling plank. So hands forward or knees back, whatever that means for you. Still have the neutral spine. The hips are in line with the shoulders and the knees. Engaged on the four corners of the hands. Maybe lifting the knees away from the floor. Find your standing position here. So this would look as if you were standing with your arms outstretched in front of you, right? If we just kind of turn it around. So let's lift the hips, making our way into down dog. Wiggling and stretching as we go. And then allowing yourself to kind of settle into it. Finding the neutral spine here, letting the arms hang, or the head hang between the arms, aligned with arms and ears. Keeping everything else, lift the heels away from the floor and drop them over to the left. Keep the right hand planted and the hips nice and high. We want to feel a nice big stretch up the right side. And then we'll come on back to center. Same idea, second side. Making our way back to center again. Sinking the heels toward the floor. Keeping that idea, let's go ahead and lift the right leg straight back. Pressing through the heel. the hip, take your toes higher. And then maybe bend at the knee and point the knee toward the ceiling. Head still in line with the arms, the chest is pressing back, that left heel is reaching for the floor. And then we're going to release that, come back to down dog. Switching sides, same idea, just lifting the left leg, keeping everything else as it is, pressing out through the heels, feeling that extra extension, and then lifting the left hip, toes nice and high, and or bending at the knee. So let's release that, back to down dog. And then drop on down to the knees. Let's go ahead and take a break in child's pose. So in our child's pose, let's go ahead and drop the forearms to the floor. And we want to create, you can stay sitting back or you can shift forward, whatever makes you happy here. We want to create the parallel forearms. I know that word isn't coming to me. So elbows are in a little bit, middle finger is pointing forward. Sphinx arms, that's the word I wanted. Grounding into the four corners of the hands, still on the floor. Again, that middle finger points forward, not out to the side, not in, right in line with your elbows, and then shift forward. So make the forearms a foundation, right? Pressing down into the floor. You can even kind of pull them together up underneath the body for a little extra muscle work there. And then we're gonna step the feet back as if we were in a plank. So you can certainly be on the knees here, right? Just like a kneeling plank, or you can lift away for a full plank. Make sure the belly is pulled in. Think about the foundation of your arms. What does that look like? And then drop on back. Try and keep your forearms in the same position as you sit your hips back into your child's pose. So it's a little bit different stretch for your shoulders and your arms, maybe across your upper back and chest if you're feeling that. And then shift forward again. So here we're going to tuck the toes under and lift the knees away from the floor. Finding our first little dolphin position here. Pressing the chest back. Arms are still in that same place. If you need to adjust, if they started to shift around on you, definitely adjust. And then see about pressing down into the hands so that you can lift your elbows at the same time up off the floor. Maybe one did most of the work. Ideally, they lift together. So let's walk the feet to the hands. We're going to kind of go standing fold. Feet up underneath the hip bones here. Make sure your toes are pointing forward. Grounding into the four corners of the feet. Let's work a little deeper into our hamstrings to begin. So bending into one knee, pressing into the opposite heel. Just kind of walking in place side to side like that. And then bending into the knees if you need. Take your index and middle fingers. We're going to wrap them around the big toes and see about taking the legs straighter. They may or may not go all the way straight. Don't make that your goal. Feel your sensation in your hamstrings. That's the idea. The more you bring the elbows out to the sides, the more the shoulders can pull together on the back. So we're not rounding here. And then release the big toes, taking the fingers here then to interlace behind the back. If you feel better with a bend in the knee, that's totally fine. Either way,
Shoulders pulled together on the back, the knuckles stretch away from the shoulders. Maybe up off of the lower back, maybe not, but definitely away from the shoulders so you feel the shoulders move away from the ears as well. Try and keep a soft little bend in the elbow and keep drawing the shoulder blades closer and closer together on the back. We'll release the hands. And then slide the hands up to the thighs here, bringing the body parallel to the floor, belly's in, shoulders are back, so you have this neutral spine. Go ahead and bend into the knees. Let's sit into a chair. Creating, again, this neutral spine, so the tailbone's tucked a little bit so your bum isn't sticking out back there. Right? Shoulders are down and back, and you can hang on or center, extend the arms, whatever makes you happy there. Sinking into the hips without dropping the chest. Keep your chest open, lifted. And then with an inhale, let's stretch to the ceiling. And exhale, release the arms. So moving into some sun salutes, remember here to follow your breath. You can keep them simpler or add on and make them more complicated as you need, right? So the feet are up underneath the hip bones here. Work in the belly. On an inhale, stretch the arms to the ceiling, and then exhale, bring it over in the fold. Keeping the shoulders back, we're gonna come halfway up on an inhale, shoulders back. Exhale, step yourself into your plank. From the knees, if you'd like, take it down to the belly. Everything should come to the floor together-ish. Elbows squeeze in. Inhale, just roll your shoulders. Lifting the chest away from the floor. And then pressing up and back into down dog again. And inhaling, walking the feet forward into fold. One step or 25, toes to fingers. That's all you gotta do. Halfway up on your next inhale. And then back over again. Come all the way up, stretching the arms to the ceiling. Let's exhale and release it. Again, just like that. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, folding. Connecting the movement to the breath. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, step yourself back to plank. Dropping down. Inhale as you roll into the shoulders, maybe pull out a little length and space in the spine. Releasing that back to down dog. And then inhaling, stepping forward. Halfway up. Back over again. Reaching for the ceiling. Exhale and release. So we've got one more and we're gonna add on to it or not. Remember, it's always your option. So inhale, sit into chair. And then exhale into your fold. Halfway up. Step back plank. Dropping down. Roll to cobra. Pulling, maybe pressing to come up a bit higher if you're ready. Up and back, down dog. On an inhale, the right foot steps forward. Take your time bringing your toes to your fingers. Important. Knee or heel to the mat back there. On the next inhale, reaching the arms up toward the ceiling and then coming back down on the exhale, stepping back to down dog. Inhale, forward plank. Exhale, down. Inhale, cobra. Releasing back to down dog. Left foot stepping forward. Toes to fingers, heel or knee to the mat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, come on back down again and step back to down dog. Shift forward to plank. Exhale to the belly. Inhale to your cobra. Back to down dog. And then hold your down dog or drop into child's pose. We're gonna take 5 nice, smooth, even breaths here. Making sure we're still checked in. present in the body, in the breath. If you drop down, lift back to down dog. And with the next inhale, step the feet forward. We're coming back to our standing fold. Halfway up. Exhaling and fold. Into chair, inhale. And exhale, release it all to the top again. All right, so go ahead and take a short step back with your right foot. We're going to turn into this narrow strut. So for now, let's keep this way just a little bit. The feet are pointing toward the top, toward the side of the mat, so they're parallel. We're going to take the fingers and we're going to interlace them behind the lower back again. Shoulders pull toward each other on the back, and the knuckles are going to reach straight for the floor behind us. The hands can lift up off the lower back, but don't necessarily worry yourself about that. Feet are going to stay where they are. Hips are going to stay where they are. Imagine rotating your belly button toward your left leg. And then fold over, thinking nose to the seam of your pants out there. And maybe you don't have a seam, but you know what I'm talking about, right? So the fold isn't very big. The chest doesn't drop forward of the hips or inside, depending on how your brain's seeing this. Let's take another big breath. We're going to inhale, lift back to center. Release your fingers, maybe roll your shoulders around. And then we'll take the fingers, relace, maybe with your other thumb on top if that enters into your brain. Pull the shoulders together, knuckles reach for the floor, lower body stays where it is, rotating the upper body around and folding over the outside of the right leg. Again, not a gigantic fold, but hopefully a pretty decent sensation, right? Let's go ahead and inhale, come back up to the middle, release the arms, maybe over your shoulders. All right, so we're going to change it up a little bit. First of all here, turning the right toes in so that they point toward the top of the mat. And this feels really awkward for a second, but then flip your left toes around. If you feel too much like you're standing on a balance beam, your feet are too narrow, it's too wobbly, whatever, open them up sideways a little bit. So it gives you a little bit more stability without sacrificing the alignment for your hips. Right? So you have the option of, again, interlacing the fingers behind the back, or maybe this time grabbing the opposite elbow back there. You decide. We're going to fold forward here. So if the fingers are interlaced, you can pull the hands up off of your lower back a little bit here, but really focus again on what your shoulder blades are doing, keeping them pulling toward each other so you're feeling this lovely stretch across the chest, fronts of your shoulders, and your hamstring, right? Strings. Take another breath. We'll inhale, bring it back up again. Releasing your arms, straddle out the feet, and we'll do the same thing on the second side. So turn your left toes toward the back, and then pivot the right toes around. Again, adjusting a little bit wider sideways if you need the stability. So option of interlacing the fingers or grabbing the opposite elbow back there, same idea. Shoulders pulled together, we're gonna fold forward. Focusing on being even and stable on your feet, thinking about your shoulders. And then hinging back up on your next inhale. Releasing the arms and straddling the feet out again. So let's come back to the top of the mat. And we're gonna take our standing balance here, getting that kind of out of the way a little early maybe today. And remember, standing on one foot is the balance work. If you can add all the bells and whistles, great. And if not, and you're just standing on one foot, that's still challenging sometimes. So shifting all the weight over into the left foot, we're just going to bend the right knee back, lifting the toes away from the floor. And this may be where it is. See then, if you can take the right hand and find your foot. And then pointing that knee at the floor as if you were still standing on 2 feet. The rest of your body is as if you were still standing on 2 feet. This left arm can absolutely extend up toward the ceiling, but what if you could grab your foot back there too? Press the foot into the hand. Feel the stretch in the arms and the shoulders and the chest. Keep the lower back long. You can stay upright. You can add a little forward tip here, as long as the leg lifts behind. A lot of times we lose the stretch because the upper body wants to come forward, but the leg doesn't want to lift. So find that middle. We're going to take one more breath. And then gently hinge back up. Releasing that. Second side, ready? Go ahead and shift the weight to the right. Bend the left knee back. And again, that's where we start. If you're adding just the left hand, grabbing the foot. Working at being more neutral here. So your thighs are parallel to each other, your shoulders are level and even, square. Maybe the right hand finds the foot. Pressing the foot into the hands to open the chest even more, and maybe hinging forward here. Let's take another big breath. And then gently hinge it back up again, and release it all. All right, so let's inhale, stretch the arms up. Exhale, bring yourself over into a fold. And we're going to step ourselves back into a down dog. So from our down dog here, let's go ahead and step the left foot forward, come to lunge. Toes to fingers, back heel to the mat. From here, let's go ahead and take that right hand, sweep it forward, up and back. We're working into warrior two. Find even on your feet. You can always open your feet a little bit wider. Make sure your back toes are cut in just a little bit. You can see your left big toe. Maybe someday this left thigh is parallel to the floor. Let's bend the left arm, rest the forearm on the thigh, bring the right arm up and over the ear. And see if you can sink a little deeper into your hips. And then we'll release it, come over to lunge again. Step back down dog. Working the second side, bring the right foot forward. Back heel to the mat. The left hand sweeping forward, up and back into our warrior two on our second side. So same idea, check in with your feet. Make sure they're where you think they are. You can see your big toe feeling even on your feet. Maybe taking this right thigh a little more parallel to the floor. Let's bend the right arm, rest it on the thigh, left arm up and over the ear. See if you can descend into your hips a bit. And then let's release it. Come over to lunge.
and step back, down dog.
So let's go ahead and step forward with the left foot again. Sweep the legs toward each other here, squaring up the hips like crazy this time instead of opening up. Right? You can stay low or climb up. Lifting the upper body, nice and vertical. Feeling a big stretch in the right hip flexor and quad here. Hang on or extend the arms. Arms are in line with the ears here. Relax your shoulders and see if you can draw those shoulder blades together on your back as if your fingers were interlaced. So if you find that your arms move back, see if you can bring your ears in line with your arm bones. A lot of times we just flop the head back, but the arms are still hanging out over here, and that doesn't really do the trick. We're gonna release the arms, reverse a lunge. And roll over your back toes and then bring the right knee to the floor. So your heel and knee are a little bit closer together than they might be otherwise. So you want to feel a nice stretch in your left calf here. Of course, that right hip flexor and quad. Sinking into your hips as low as they'll go. So then leave your hips low. And see about bringing your hands to the left thigh. Lifting the chest without lifting the hips. Pressing away, let your chest open. One more breath here. And then we're gently going to release that. So roll over your back toes again, stepping back to your down dog. Lunge and then down dog. And then let's switch, bringing the right foot forward. You can definitely drop to the left knee here if you feel like you need that modification. Sweep the legs toward each other, climb up on the thigh. Lift the upper body. So getting that nice little stretch here, hang on, extend, whatever you need to do with your arms. Just keeping your chest open, your shoulders relaxed. Releasing that. Rolling over your back toes and then bringing your left knee to the floor. So shortening up the stance here. Sink into the right heel. Sink into your hips. Leave them low as you climb up. Pressing away from the thigh, let the chest open and lift. Arms, same idea here. They can be extended up alongside your ears. We're just pressing away. One more big breath. Let's gently release that. Roll over the back toes again. Step back, down dog. Let yourself wiggle and stretch a little bit here. And then we'll drop on down into our child's pose again. So let's plant the forearms like we did earlier. So shifting forward, we're gonna be here a little bit. So if this is a giant stretch for your shoulders, you can always interlace your fingers out front. We're gonna work a little bit with this one rather than just transition in and out. So either your middle finger points forward and you have a straight line, two parallel lines, left and right arm, or fingers are interlaced. Either way, you're gonna root down into your forearms like crazy And like we did before, imagine pulling them together up underneath your body. What's happening here? So let's go ahead and hold or lift the knees away from the floor and simply hold. So remember, you can adjust, maybe trying your hands in a different place, maybe pressing your chest back, maybe sinking your heels toward the floor like we do in down dog. And then we're going to release that back down to the knees and sit back in child's pose again. So coming back up, forearms and knees. And you may find that you have to readjust your arms, right? Sometimes the elbows sway, sometimes the hands move around. Change and switch and experiment with different arm positions here. Hands really. Press down into the floor, pull up together underneath the body, and then we're going to move in and out. So bringing your chin towards your thumbs and pressing back. Super simple. It does not have to get any fancier than this. If you're not exactly sure what you're supposed to be feeling, you can lift your knees away from the floor and do the same thing, chin to thumbs and back. So follow your breath in and out, right? Whether you're inhaling forward or exhaling forward, but connected to the breath. Smooth, controlled, your belly's working. Do one more. And then come on down and rest again. So you can take the variation that's right for you, right? So you can simply hold in that static position, pressing the chest back, sinking into the heels. You can stay on your heel or on your knees, shifting forward and back, or you can lift your knees up off the floor and shift forward and back with your upper body. Or if you want to add on a little bit here, we're going to come back up onto the forearms and knees, elbows under the shoulders, either middle finger pointing forward or the fingers interlaced. Try not to create a hybrid, just go ahead and give your shoulders a break if they need it. So you're going to press down, pull together up underneath the body. For this next variation, with the knees away from the floor. We're going to press the chest back to the chest. Anytime. Bad position to get stuck in. So pressing the chest back so the hips are nice and high, the chest stays back, and maybe here the toes walk toward the elbows and then back again. So instead of the upper body coming forward and back, the lower body comes forward and back. So again, variations, whether it's upper body forward and back, lower body forward and back, but not both. Do a couple more of whatever variation you're doing, and then come on down and rest again. So one more time, we're going to work whatever variation of that pose that you're feeling is right for you. So whether you're just holding, the upper body's moving forward and back, whether the knees are on the floor or not, the lower body is moving forward or back without the shoulders moving. right? Or we're gonna try this little piece here. So forward up onto the forearms and knees, extended out in the Sphinx, interlaced out in front, whichever, press down into the forearm, pull together up underneath, make sure your belly's working. And then lifting the knees away from the floor, see about bringing your toes forward a little bit. And then what about lifting the right leg? Don't worry about high, just lift. Release that side and lift the left. And you can switch back and forth. You can take a couple more of whatever variation you're working here. And then come on down and rest in your child's pose. So maybe this time, arms next to the, or hands next back to the heels. So your shoulders get to rest forward a little bit. If the arms are back by the heels, go ahead and extend them forward here just to help. And we're gonna slide out onto the belly. All right. So from here, prop yourself up on your forearms. Same idea, right? Arms out into this Sphinx idea. You're gonna press down so the chest lifts and pull as if you're pulling your belly button forward. So you're sort of leading with your chest here, right? The shoulders are relaxing down away from your ears. Your head is in line, right? We don't want to jut the chin forward and lift the head. Just a neutral neck here. You may want to adjust exactly where your left hand is falling, just for stability purposes. We're gonna bend the right knee and see about the right hand finding the foot. So it's easier if you roll up, but then roll back down. Okay, so the pelvis is still level, the thighs are on the floor, and you got this right foot as if we were doing that standing balance that we did earlier. You can hang out here, or press the foot into the hand and see if you can get a little lift back there. Keeping the tailbone tucked, the shoulders relaxed. You can give it a little bit more by pressing into the left hand and maybe then lifting your elbow. Take a big breath. And then press that down all the way down to the belly. Let's go the second side. So come on back onto the forearms. Same idea here. Okay. Adjust your right arm if you need to. Just make it easy. Sorry. So if you needed the coaching through that, pressing into the right arm, keeping the shoulders down and back, bending the left knee, left hand to the foot. Ground the pelvis, pressing the left foot into the hand. Coming up on the right fingertips. Lifting that elbow if that's you. And then release back down again. So make a little pillow for your head with your hands and rest the cheek on the pillow, pointing your toes toward each other, maybe just rocking a little bit back and forth on your hips. Finding your center. Let's go ahead and roll over onto the back from here. So finding where your spine is neutral, you feel even across your hips and shoulders, and then just release the muscles of your back into the mat. Let your chest naturally fall open. Rest in your shoulders. And notice the difference between when your palms are face down, how your shoulders are open, or maybe less open, than if you roll the shoulders or roll the palms up. And then the shoulders get to roll back and maybe open up a little deeper. So just sort of keep that piece in your head. If your feet are not already flat to the floor, go ahead and bend your knees, feet flat to the mat. And in your head, you're going to keep your back doing exactly what it's doing. So think about exactly what's touching the floor and exactly how much body weight is in it as you lift the right leg straight up toward the ceiling. So hopefully everything stayed the same. As much as possible, keep that, and interlace your fingers behind the right thigh here. You can use a strap too if you like. Sometimes the shoulders will lift away from the floor. We want to keep them down, so if a strap helps, use it. And then with an exhale, pull that leg a little closer to your chest, and then release. So the intention is just as much as stretching the hamstrings here is keeping the spine in this neutral position as we do it. Once more like that, in and out. And then find a neutral place. So you get a little bit of a stretch going, not intense, not super intense. Extend the left arm out. I like my palm down. It helps sort of ground my body. But if you want up, right? Support the outside of your right hand, or your right leg with your right hand, and let the leg start to drop over to the right. Stop before you feel the weight get all wonky. Right? So the back side is just as it was with your leg pointing out toward the ceiling. And you can let the weight of the leg fall into the hand. Use the arm over there. Take another big breath. We'll bring the leg back to center, and we're going to take it over to the left, all the way over, and yes, your hips are going to have to roll up off the mat. So the foot might not touch the floor. You can bend at the knee, or you can leave this right leg more straight. Extend the right arm out to the right. Take another big breath. And then bend at the knee if you'd like. Come on back to center. Release the right foot to the floor. And then readjust. So if you got a little crooked with that twist, just fixing the spine so that we feel even just like we did before. And we're going to switch sides so the left leg straight up. Keeping the neutral curves. We got that. Maybe interlace the fingers behind the thigh. Keeping the neutral curves. How about a little in and out? Connected to the breath here. Find the sensation wherever that is for you. Taking one more like that. Finding your center. And then supporting the outside of the left leg, right arm extends out to the right again to just sort of ground the body on that side. We let the leg fall out until you start to feel the weight shift. And then we want to stop and see if we can center, whether it's more happening in your shoulders or your hips, maybe your back is rounding. Find that neutral place. We'll come back to the middle. Take that leg across the body all the way over, maybe to the floor, maybe to your hand, maybe the knee bends, wherever. Let's take another nice big breath here. Bending again here at the knee if you need it. We're going to come on back to center. Releasing the left leg. Realigning through the spine if you got a little crooked and drawing the knees into the chest. Let yourself rock side to side or up and down. Squeezing the knees into the chest and pulling your forehead in to meet the knees. We'll release that into a full body stretch. Use every muscle here, reach away. And then release it. Let your arms come back down by your sides and create that neutral spine. If you did get a little crooked or might feel comfortable here, you can always prop if you need to in one way or another. And just release into the floor. And while the body is doing all those complicated things that you have to pretty much stay present for, now the body isn't doing anything. And the mind is free to wander, but see if you can keep it present anyway. Staying attuned to your breath. And even here, maybe staying attuned to the sensations of the body without wiggling and adjusting and fussing with it, just being completely aware and present. Giving yourself a few minutes to, again, just simply be. Slowly draw in a deep cleansing breath, and then let that go. Beginning small, allow your body to gently move and stretch. And when you're ready, placing the feet flat to the floor, taking your time, keeping your eyes closed, your mind quiet. Slowly make your way back up to a seated position. Sitting well, bringing the palms to touch. Bowing to the light within. Namaste. Thanks for playing today, you guys. Thanks for being troopers there. And hopefully as you're moving through these poses, you can see where the things that we're doing would add up to the crazy things, right? And even if you got nowhere near the crazy thing, again, you're moving the muscles, you're working the body, your brain is present in the moment. And again, that is the point, not where the body goes, right? So remember to check out the website, anydayyoga.com. Watch for my emails, and in 2 weeks we'll see you for that virtual summer retreat. And we'll see you next Saturday here, same time, same place, different poses. Maybe. All right, have a great weekend, you guys. Thank you so much. Hey, Cheryl. Oh, Lily, I miss you. Bye, guys. Thank you.